Hello there. Today we are talking about, as it's Valentine's Day coming around the
Mhm.
corner. Woohoo! What is your love language?
I feel like we should have something like Barry White coming in. Da-na-na, or Chantel.
Je t'aime, je
Da-na-na-na.
t'aime,
Yeah.
oui, je t'aime.
Oh, very good. Loving the
That's
French
all I
there.
know.
I
That's
don't,
all I know.
yeah, I don't know much French at all. I did German at school. I can say je m'appelle Adele, and that's it. We are talking the languages of love today. Thought it'd
We
be
are.
quite a nice topic to just move us into the Valentine's week. Whether or not you celebrate Valentine's Day is irrelevant. I know that maybe a lot of people don't and think it's all like commercialized, and I get it.
Mm.
But this is something that will help most people, I think.
I think so too. I kind of know some of the love languages, so I know where you're coming from. And from my perspective, it's basically understanding which love language you are, but also your partner, if you've got one, the rest of your family, so you can understand how better to communicate with them, I
Mhm.
guess. That's got to be part
Yeah.
of it, definitely.
It is exactly that. It's really helpful in communication. So let's just give a little credit to the guy that coined this phrase. It was developed by Gary Chapman, PhD, in his book, The Five Love Languages: The Secret to Love That Lasts.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of therapists and coaches, in particular relationship therapists, will have read this book and will find this a useful tool. Because if you're kind of at loggerheads, or you're just not getting on with your partner or even your kids, um, or even other people, that are close to you in your family and friendship groups, it can be something to look at. And it can really play a part in helping you improve that relationship, the bonding, and the communication, because not everyone communicates in the same way or likes to receive love or give love in the same way. So this is where the problem lies. So if, for example, you have a preferred love language, so like me personally, when I looked into this and when I read about this, it was very useful to be like, aha, like I'm different to my partner, so this makes sense now. So if your love language is more, and we'll get into the five types, but if it's more like words, and hearing things, you're more audible, auditory, whatever the word is, and you like to hear them say, and I appreciate you, and I love it when you do like when you buy me a gift, or when you do XYZ. I really appreciate what a really good mom you are, or wife, or whatever it might be. And your partner's is different because it's physical touch.
Mm.
So that means then they might not say very much to you because that's not how they communicate. So what they're doing is grabbing your hand. It's not always just the physical touch that we associate with relationships. It might be that little cuddle and that squeeze, or they want to like cuddle up in bed and do a little spooning, holding your hand in public. And if that's not your love language and they're not telling you any of these things you need to hear, because you're like, I don't feel appreciated,
You're at
because
loggerheads.
your love language is not physical touch, and they're like, what's she talking about? I'm always holding a hand, and you're like,
Get
get
off.
away, get over your own side. So if you've got this kind of breakdown in communication, and it's nothing wrong with you and there's nothing wrong with them, it's different. It's like you're talking French and they're talking German, like we started off at the beginning talking about the languages. So it's worth having a little think about what your preferred love language, your expression of love, and how you prefer to receive love. And it's also worth thinking or asking, even, have this conversation with your partner, like, oh, heard this podcast today, or I've read this book, and this is just this fun thing for us to do. Here are these five things. What would you say yours was? And then just ask them. And then if you understand, if you don't know already, that theirs is different to yours, it might help. You might know already when you hear them because, it becomes quite apparent, really. So, and we can ask Margaret what Margaret says. Number one is words of affirmation. So people with words of affirmation as a love language value, as no surprise, verbal acknowledgements
Mm.
of affection. And so you might like to hear someone say, I love you frequently, you know? When I say this to my daughter, she's like, bleh. She
I
doesn't like physical touch either. Get off.
She's at that age.
Yeah, well, she's a teenager, but this is why I say it's helpful to think
Yeah.
about your children as well, because you're like smothering them and saying, I love you, and a text and, giving them hugs and pets on the cheek, and they're just like, no,
Get
no,
up.
no, hell to the no. And obviously they've got all the social embarrassment going on, which is fine, but you still might understand because some children are very much physical touch. So I'd say my son, I can tell he does. He's really good at hugging. He loves all of that. So yes, I wouldn't go around hugging him at the bus stop,
Mhm.
but still, you can find those moments in time, particularly, let's say, if he's upset. Now he's practically an adult. He's literally an adult next week. It's his birthday this week. Um, not in February when this is going out. We
No.
recorded it. Yeah. But he does love a cuddle. So like if he's upset, that's my go-to
Yeah.
because I know that he values it then more than anything else, more than words really. Whereas in my daughter it's different. Even when she's upset, she's still very much,
Hands
you
off.
know,
Mm.
yeah, prefers you to kind of talk to her really. So the words, it's the vocabulary that you might choose to express your love. So if you know that someone values the words, you give verbal encouragement, reassurance, let's say, even the digital communication, like sending a little, thinking of you, little text while they're at work or anything like that would be appreciated. Even social media engagement, if that's your thing, it's not ours. Like we don't put all our birthdays and Valentines and anniversaries all over because, my husband's not really into that. It's not even really on there. But if you do value that if you didn't do that on their birthday or their anniversary and that's what they value, again, they're going to think, oh, not even wished me happy birthday on Facebook or whatever it might be. So it's just understanding that words are important to some people, even if they're not to you. And you think, oh God. And it's not about being fake. So the difficulty is here, if this is not the way that you normally like to communicate, you might feel like it's a little bit fake, but it's not. It's just understanding your partner's needs or the other person's needs and, you know, giving that to them as the relationship, wanting to share
Yeah.
the love in the way that it's going to be better received by them. It's a bit making an effort, isn't it?
Yeah, it's meeting them halfway.
Mm.
If you've got, certain love languages and they've got certain love languages, it's understanding that and then meeting them halfway with it.
And if you're not got a partner and you're in the dating scene, then make life easy for yourself. Interview them first, find out their love language, and make sure it's the same as yours. It's got to be a whole lot easier. Didn't know this at the time that I met my husband. So number two is quality time.
Mm.
People whose love language is quality time, obviously they're going to feel great if you make that time for date night. If you say like, let's go out for a meal together, let's go for a walk together, where you're not half listening because you're on your phone, you're putting it down, you're looking into their eyes, you're being present, you're communicating with them, hanging out with them. Yeah, eye contact, giving your undivided attention because that is valuable.
Mm.
How often do we get someone's undivided attention this day and age with the phones
Yeah.
around? So these people have a strong desire to actively spend time with their significant other, having meaningful conversations, asking them their opinion on something and actively listening. So quality time. thinking maybe of creative places to go just to keep things interesting, and to have that kind of time together where you've not got the kids with you. Maybe you would book a night away or a weekend away or anything like that. And again, when it comes to the kids, just watch out for that. Obviously when they're little, all kids love quality time with their parents. But, as they get a little bit older, maybe they go a bit more distant. But if they do still value that quality time, things like family holidays, little weekends away, day trips, activities that even if it's teenagers, like sometimes you could book something that's a bit more like grown up, like I don't know, go-karting or paintballing or whatever it might be, that's gonna make them feel valued and that you've thought about what they want.
Yeah. Or even the other way around. I know quite a lot of parents say, just want to spend time with you. So it can be the way around, can't it? The fact that, crikey, when my mum was around, she wasn't too bothered about going fancy places or whatever. She just wanted that time.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, with children, adult children, you
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and spending quality time. Yeah, and that's it, just go nipping around for a cup of tea and just having that chatting about the good old days, asking questions. So yeah, quality time. So have a think about that one for yourself and for your family members, and just have fun with it. Be aware of, like, if you do suggest going out for a picnic or a walk or a cup of tea or whatever it might be, and what kind of reception you get. You can really have fun with this and just say, oh, I'll try all of these different ones, if you're not brave enough to just ask. They might not even think they know themselves.
True.
Number three is acts of service. So this is like when you do something. So these people believe like actions speak louder than words. It's not about the words, it's about what you do. And it can be something as simple as, do you put the bins out? If it's always your partner that puts the bins out, maybe you do it occasionally. If it's always them that cook, maybe you cook for occasional so they can have a night off. If one of you is poorly, do you act in a way that is Florence Nightingale, and you're making the hot toddies and bringing them the blankets and the paracetamol, or are you a bit like, for God's sake, just get on with it? Like, if that's not their love language, then
Yeah.
fine. But if it is, and then you're just like, oh, can't be doing,
Mhm.
get on with it,
They're not
then
going to be
they
too chuffed.
they might feel they might not be too chuffed, and it's we're making light of it, but they might feel really unloved in
Yeah.
that moment, and then you'll get cross because they're being all, "Oh." I mean, we're dead soft when we're ill anyway, aren't we? We go back to that. We need our parents to look after
Yeah.
us, and especially men. Sorry to the guys that are
Note,
listening, but
note, note. That was from Adele, not from me.
I mean, we all know about mansplaining,
Yeah,
right? It's worse than women.
absolutely.
So, do you value when your partner goes out of their way to make your life easier? Um, Making you your coffee in the morning, cup of tea, picking up things like from the post office, dry cleaning, whatever it might be. Just have a think. Is this something that you value? Do you think, oh yeah, I feel really taken care of. I feel loved. I feel like my needs are being met when your partner does things for you that, makes you feel looked after. Or does it not bother you and you're just like, nah, whatever, I'll just get on with it myself. Um, so this is different to people that want to hear, I love you, I appreciate you. This is like you're just doing the acts of
Yeah, kind
service.
of show me what you
Show
need.
me, yeah,
Yeah.
show not tell. Number four is gifts. It's a good old fashioned one. Do you really value when someone maybe brings a bunch of flowers home, and it's not because they've done something wrong, it's not because it's Valentine's Day or whatever it is, birthday, it's just because.
Yeah.
Or a little, they've been out somewhere or you've been out somewhere and you spot something that you just think they'd really like this. Again, it could be a friend.
Mm.
I love doing that if I just think, oh, someone's a bit poorly or a bit down. Do you send a card? Do you pick something up, a little bunch of flowers, or send a little gift, a little gift bag of cheery up things that it's just going to make their day. and how much is that valued? And it's not this one is not about the monetary value. It's more the act of
Mm.
the gift, um, the choosing of the gift, and what that means, what that person means to the other person is what this is about. It's the emotional benefit behind it.
Kind of, I've been thinking about you. Here's my
Yeah.
way to express that I've been thinking about you.
Yeah, so again, it's just that expression of love, and you know, it could be that you shower the other person with gifts and that's not their love language.
Mm.
So they, and then you get annoyed because they don't seem appreciative of your efforts.
Mm.
So if it feels like that, maybe switch to try texting and speaking to them in a certain way, see if that lands better, or moving on to number 5, which is physical touch. Maybe you try grabbing their hand, cuddling. This goes back to obviously childhood as well, where some people didn't have that affection of physical touch because your parents might not have grown up around that and not be huggy parents. And if your need was physical touch and it was never met, that can then leave you feeling like you're a bit unloved and you're not worthy and all of that. And you might not even know that it's because you actually really need that physical touch. It's worth exploring. And also, um if you got too much of it and you're not someone that likes physical touch again and they just didn't get it, you might feel really like averse to it.
Yeah.
Um, and you don't even know why, but it can go back to that need. We definitely need it when we're babies, we
Oh
need
yeah,
that
definitely.
being. There's like studies about that, if you weren't held as a baby, and the eye contact, that one as well, it's really important, the bond between the mother and the baby. So yeah, I mean, it's a bit of fun, but obviously there are things within it that can be looked at in more depth. It's just worth exploring, not only with your partner, but again with your friends, with your children, and not just thinking there's only one way to show and express love, which is your way, because you might not be getting your needs met the other way round, and again with wider family members.
Mhm.
So what do you think? What do you think your love language? Yeah, I mean, also you might just not have just one.
Yeah, I'm just
You
thinking
might
I've
have a
definitely got a
few.
mixture of about 3.
Yeah, but you
I would
might
say,
find one more than the others. But you,
yeah,
you know,
I'd definitely say time is up there.
mhm.
Um, Doing, definitely. And
Actions. Yeah,
yeah, actions
that
and
fits.
touch.
That fits in with time, doesn't
Yeah,
it? I
it
think
does.
those do fit together. If you want to spend quality time with someone and you want to like snuggle up and see how they show their love in different ways, even if that is something as boring as putting the bins out or
Oh
whatever.
no, no, don't
You
don't knock
know,
that. Don't knock it.
exactly, exactly. There are things that you might think of, let us know if you think of other things that you're like. I think you can kind of have a look at what you moan about that you're not happy in your relationship with. That's
That's a
really
good
good.
one.
So if you're not sure, well, I don't know what my love language is or my partner's. What is it that you complain about all of the time?
Yeah, very
Because
true.
it's like you're never here, you don't listen to me, you don't put the bins out, you don't do the washing. What is it that you got about? And then see which category it falls into and just see if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think me and Darren are pretty similar by the sounds of it because I can recognise definitely time with him, touch as well, and to a point, actions. So I think,
Mm.
thank goodness. Yay!
Yeah. Yeah, because it is easier, isn't it? If
Yeah,
it's, well, at least some of them overlap.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
what about yourself?
Well, like I said, at the beginning, I think I've got a few as well. So I think a little bit of all of them,
Mm.
but I definitely think that I am not as valued in the physical touch camp as my husband, because that's
Mhm.
definitely his love language is definitely that.
Mhm.
But he will he will still meet me, without having had the conversation even. like he knows I valued, like I love fresh flowers in the house. So I love like those little tokens that show that maybe when he was out, he was thinking about me and he brought me the little bunch of flowers. Again, nothing expensive. Like in spring when you get a little bunch of tulips and they're just a few
Oh
quid,
yeah.
or daffodils for £1. I just love that. And then it brightens up the home and things like that. So I think even if they're slightly different, it's good to meet each other, like I think you said, meet each other halfway, recognize it, and then you can share. So then you end up sharing all of the love languages, and again with the kids, if you
Mhm.
just recognize each other's love languages, and it's nice to show your appreciation and show love in all different ways, isn't it?
Oh,
So it's
definitely.
fun just to think, oh, have I thought about them? Have I bought them a little gift? Have I sent them a little text? Um, yeah, quality time for me as well, I would agree with. And that's not always easy with the children around and the
Yeah.
pets around and stuff like that. So that is something I might moan about, just talking about what do you moan about. And we'll say, right, let's just, instead of being at home all weekend doing jobs, let's go out, let's go for a night. We like to go for a nice walk.
Yeah.
And then you're not on your phone, you are having a conversation, then you might go for a coffee, stuff like that, have a little bit of lunch out. Um, yeah, so I think there's a few for me, and then there's a couple that maybe, cross over across my whole family. So,
No, it's good to kind of do this
mm,
thing because the more communicative you are,
mhm,
the better. And if you can understand, even if your love languages don't meld together, at least now you've got a better idea of how to communicate with your partner by sure, or your loved ones, family, whoever it may be. Better communication all the way round.
yeah, and let's hope that this helps to spread a little love, magic, and joy for Valentine's this week.
Definitely. So we would love to hear your love languages. Please do pop them in the comments and let us know. Let us know if you were quite enlightened by finding out what your love
Mm,
languages were and whether they do work well with your significant other.
mhm. Or whether it's, like slightly different and you will need to put in that little bit more effort, but are you willing to? Are you willing
Ah,
to meet them halfway?
absolutely.
And if you're not sure where to comment, I think YouTube can definitely comment if you're signed
Absolutely.
into your YouTube account.
Mhm.
I'm not sure about the other areas where you
I've
get your
not seen
podcasts
anywhere.
from.
If someone can enlighten me
Yes,
on Spotify and anything else, if you can comment, let us know.
but definitely you can on YouTube. If you also would do us a huge favor and hit the subscribe button, that would be appreciated. It really, really does help.
Lovely. Thank you very much. I'm talking lovely, I'm talking love. So
Love. Happy Valentine's Day.
definitely happy Valentine's Day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
I hope you get all of your needs met. Bye for now.
Bye.